guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're returning here, I'm so glad to have you here again. And if you're new, I am Stacey Yoder, and my family and I have lived here in Cambodia for almost 5 years now. We're originally from the States. And if you're curious about why, I'll try to link a video up here that will say about why Cambodia. And I am also 24 weeks pregnant with boy number 4. So for today, I am going to show you guys 3 different recipes. One of them is a granola no-bake bar. One of them is a chocolate peanut butter granola bar that's Trim Healthy Mama style. And then the third thing is fettuccine that I made for lunch. And we are getting ready to leave on a trip to Thailand next week. Dewey goes every year to help teach at a basketball camp and then also play in a tournament that they have in the evenings. And so I'm making these granola bars to take along so we have some snacks and stuff to eat. The place at the basketball camp happens at is just kind of like this little town in the middle of nowhere. And so the restaurants are hit or miss. Usually the food is really good, but occasionally it's not as good, or it's just because of all the basketball playing and stuff that Dewey ends up hungry a lot. And so I try to take along some snacks, something that will help keep him full a little bit. And so that's what these granola bars are for. So I'm going to show you guys how I made them, and then they need to be refrigerated so they can firm up a bit. Then after they firm up, I take them and just cut them up into squares, and then I wrap them individually in saran wrap and put them in a Ziploc bag, and that way they're easy to travel with. To travel, I just throw them in a suitcase, and they're going to go on 2 plane rides plus a car ride, a 2-hour taxi ride. So they're going to get moved around and mush probably some, but it'll be okay because of how they're packaged. And I did this last year and it worked out just fine. So if you guys are getting ready to go on a trip or anything, these are maybe some motivation or ideas of something you could make to take along. This is actually my first time making the peanut butter chocolate Trim Healthy Mama granola bars. When I'm cooking, I just don't like to follow recipes. I like to mix it up and kind of make it my own. I prefer cooking, just adding a little of this and a little of that and tasting and seeing what it tastes like, and then adding a little more of this or a little more of that, and not necessarily sticking exactly to what a recipe says. Do any of you guys cook that way? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, for baking, you have to be a little more careful because your ingredients, you want your cake or bread or whatever to make sure it rises. So I do have to follow recipes a little bit closer for that.
Alright, so it's time to start making the no-bake peanut butter granola bars. I have a 1/4 cup of butter in here already softened. I'm going to do 1 cup of honey or light corn syrup, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 1.5 cups of crunchy peanut butter, and this has a little bit of cocoa powder mixed in from a recipe that I made before. And then about 1 cup of crushed pecans, 1 cup of chocolate chips, and then the recipe called for some other nuts that I didn't have, so instead I decided just to add more pecans, and I had to crush these up. Okay, I would say that was about 1 cup of crushed pecans. Then I added 3 cups of oatmeal, and then I mixed it. That looks delicious. Okay, after that's all mixed together, you can put that into a lightly greased 9x13 pan. Don't tell anybody, but I may have licked these beaters and my fingers off after I was done. Alright, we can stick this in the fridge for 1 hour, and after that we can cut it up into like rectangles, and I wrap individually in saran wrap, and then it's ready to travel. Alright, then next it was time to work on lunch, and I made the chicken fettuccine. So I just cut up some chicken breast and put some of this McCormick Grill Mate Smoky Montreal Steak seasoning on it. Dewey and I love this stuff. We love to put this stuff on the meat for tacos, the meat for stir fries, and on chicken or pork or whatever. And then also in this kettle I have some water heating up for noodles. I'm going to add a dash of oil and just a little bit of chicken broth powder. The chicken broth powder that we use here is really salty, but then it'll also help flavor the noodles. One trick I've learned is to break the noodles in the pack, and then you don't end up with noodles spritzing everywhere. I was in a hurry and added these noodles a little bit before my water was boiling, but the water was really hot. And we are having some extra company for lunch, so I put in plenty of noodles just to make sure we have enough. So my lunch is not necessarily low carb, it's just something that's easy and delicious for our lunch today. So I'm going to put a lid on that, and once it comes to a boil, I'll let it boil for about 7 minutes. Once the chicken is lightly browned, I turn it off the heat and put it in a bowl and cover and save for later. Then in the same kettle, I put in about half a cup of butter to let melt. And once the noodles have been boiling for about 7 minutes, I will strain them. And then for my Alfredo sauce, I did not follow a recipe exactly, but roughly what I put in was 1 cup of heavy cream, about half a cup of just regular milk, 6 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese, and then also like a cheese powder. It's cheaper here than actually putting cheese in it, and it also helps to thicken my sauce, and about 1 tablespoon of mustard, and then salt and pepper for flavoring, and some garlic salt. You could also add any other herbs that you have on hand to make it delicious. So there's our lunch: the noodles, the chicken, and the Alfredo sauce. So fettuccine Alfredo. And then we had a side of a bunch of cucumbers and carrots.
Alright, I wanted to hop back on here real quick, and in the name of always trying to be completely honest with you guys, the Trim Healthy Mama peanut butter chocolate bars did not turn out the best. The bottom, it got firm and set up really good, but it's really dry. And then the top part, the chocolate part, it never firmed up. Even after it's been in the fridge for about 4 hours now, it still is a little bit like runny on top. And I think it's probably because I used the wrong kind of oil. So I want to try it again, or maybe I should try a different recipe. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. It doesn't have to be Trim Healthy Mama, just so it's like low carb, a low carb granola bar type recipe. Yeah, like I said, it's my first time trying them, and so I didn't know unless I tried it. But anyway, the no-bake granola peanut butter bars are definitely a big hit, and I definitely would recommend that recipe. And these are the no-bake peanut butter granola bars that I made for Dewey, and they turned out really good. And what I'm going to do after this is cut them up into squares and wrap them individually in saran wrap, put them in a Ziploc bag, and that should work really good for traveling then, to stick in with our luggage. Okay, that's all for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys follow recipes exactly, or if you cook more like I do, where you add a little of this or a little of that, taste it, and add a little more of something else. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know. And I will see you guys again in 2 weeks. Like I said, we're going to be going on a trip to Thailand, and so next week I will be out. If you guys want to see what we're doing in Thailand, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm sure I'll be posting on my story on there. And then I'll make a video again in 2 weeks when we get back. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.